Welcome everybody. My name's Cody Lower. I will be your MC this evening. We're going to get started in a couple more minutes. We're just waiting for a few more attendees to log on. Thank you. Welcome everybody. My name's Cody Lower. I'll be your MC this evening, and I'd like to welcome you to the webinar series of Finding Your Pathway to Tomorrow. I would like to welcome Asha, one of our current students here at University of Sunshine Coast, and also Alyssa Candy, who is one of our coordinators here at the University of Sunshine Coast, based at our Sunshine Coast campus. We do have some support team members who will be able to answer your questions throughout the evening. Sebastian, who works in our Future Students team. If you do have any questions this evening, you can see a Q&A function and a button down at the bottom or the top of your screen, depending on what device you're on, where you can type in any question you like. We'll try to answer these throughout the presentation. If not, we'll save it for the discussion near the end. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live, and recognize their continued connection to land, water, and community. We pay respect to elders past and present. So a little bit about University of Sunshine Coast. If you're new to the university and haven't had the chance to be on one of our campuses, we have a few range of different campuses, and they all offer different types of services. We do have more regional campuses, such as our UniSC Fraser Coast campus and our UniSC Gympie campus, where they really specialize on nursing and a range of our pathway programs. The Fraser Coast campus as well offers social work and a range of different community welfare courses as well to support your journey and have really high career outcome results based on those campuses, so you can work in the local area if you are based around that footprint. If you're after one of our full service campuses, we do have University of Sunshine Coast campus based in Sippy Downs. That is where I'm located and I live and work, as well as our UniSC Moreton Bay campus, which is a full course facility campus with a range of different sports, health, and a range of different degrees as well. So besides where you can study, obviously it's what you can study, and that's really important. So we have more than 120 different courses available, from arts and international studies, business and commerce, communications, creative industries, design, law and criminology, and a range of different health courses as well. This can go from nursing midwifery, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and a range of other allied health courses. If you are passionate about any of these fields, including our sport and exercise science fields, which Asha, I'm sure, could talk about, we are more than welcome for you to come onto campus. We can talk about each course one-on-one and talk about which is the best pathway and career outcome for you. If you are trying to find your pathway into campus, as you can see on the slide, there's a ways of finding out what is applicable for you to study. So check the campus of offering. Obviously, depending on the course you are after, they are available on certain campuses or online, depending on what you're wishing to study. Your selection rank is obviously the score you need to gain entry. There's so many different ways for you to be able to achieve that. And some courses also have prerequisites and recommended prior study options as well for you to gain entry and have all the skills and confidence you need to thrive in that course. If you are wishing to learn more, jump onto the course page, go through the individual course one-on-one, or connect to one of our team members at the end of the presentation, and we'll be more than happy to go through it with you. Talking about support, and something I believe that we really do thrive on, is we have a range of fee-free support options for you. These range from academic and study support, careers and employment, health and well-being, financial support, student groups and partnership opportunities, which are a really great option if you are wanting to connect to the university in a physical sense, as well as online and find your own community, as well as counseling, disability equity, and student success team as well. If you jump on our support page at visitusc.edu.au/support, there's a heap of information, and we highly recommend using this page prior to your commencement of study. If you're struggling with any sort of disability or lack of confidence in terms of what course you want to study or how you're going to study, depending on your own wants and needs, jump on this page, see what services are available to you. These are fee-free before you even come to us as a student, as well as understanding if you are struggling with any, like I said, disability or any way of impairment of learning. You can connect with our team. They can let you know all the services available to you to make sure that you have the skills and support you need to thrive at University of Sunshine Coast. Talking about further support is scholarships. We have over $4.3 million worth of scholarships available, and not all these are based on how smart you are or how highly academic you are. We have a range of equity scholarships, merit scholarships, as well as some of these scholarships are based on what you're studying and where you come from. For example, if you're from a regional area and you're looking to relocate to one of our campuses, there are some bursaries available to you to support you with relocation, studying coursework fees, as well as obviously just small amounts of bursaries that can help you out per semester. It's a simple application. It's one form, mainly for all our scholarships, whereas some of our donor scholarships require sometimes you have to write a little bit of information about yourself and why you're the most applicable person for that scholarship. Feel free to jump straight onto our scholarships page to find out more. Sometimes you can type in the course that you're looking to study and see what's available in those specialty donor scholarships as well. So now we know a little bit about the university, where what you can study, some ways to offset those costs as well. It's all about how am I going to get in, and that's why we're all here today, is to talk about the pathways to university. The great thing about university is that there's not one unique pathway to fit all different people, and therefore we have a range of different options depending on the background that you've come from. So if you are someone who has finished school maybe in the last 5 years or so, or finished a TAFE Cert 3 qualification, or have a range of work experience in a specific area, you can use this to gain a selection rank to gain entry into some of our courses, if not all our courses. Other than that, we have a fantastic pathway program called Tertiary Preparation Path. This is a fee-free course, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this later on. We have a range of pathway diplomas. This gives you the option to receive a qualification within 12 months, use that to gain entry into the workforce, as well as you can use that to knock off time off our higher level degrees, such as our bachelor's and associate courses. We have an Indigenous Direct Entry and Access Scheme. We highly recommend reaching out to us if you do recognize as being an Indigenous or Torres Strait Island student. We have a range of support services available for you to help you gain entry, as well as a range of other services and support available. Besides that, if you come from another institution or you've studied with us in the past, you can use some of these previous subjects to either gain credit or gain entry into a new course. TPP, or Tertiary Preparation Pathway, is a fantastic fee-free program available for all Australian domestic students. This course gives you all the skills you need in academic writing, literacy, and numeracy, as well as has a range of specialty subjects for you to upskill or gain those prerequisites you need to get into a bachelor's level. So how TPP works, you enroll into up to 4 units to be recognized. TPP is very flexible. You choose a study plan that suits you and your lifestyle. For example, if you're really passionate about going into business, you can do our 2 academic support subjects, as well as one of our IT support subjects. And then you can fill those other 2 units with something around commerce or maybe even maths and English, depending on what support you need for you to be recognized to get into that course. These are all designed to support you and give you the skills you need, and it's ran by our college. So therefore, once you complete this course, you'll receive a direct entry into your chosen course field, as well as having all the skills you need to be able to succeed. Before moving on to our pathway diplomas, guys, as we've talked a fair bit about the university and the different options available, we highly recommend jumping into the Q&A and start typing in your own unique questions that you may have for our university. We have Sebastian here ready to answer those questions for you and be able to make sure that all your questions are answered before the end of the presentation. So besides TPP as a pathway program, which I did mention, it is fee-free completely with no costs and a great way to gain entry into university as well as a pathway into your chosen bachelor's degree. We also have our pathway diplomas. This is a combination of higher level learning as well as our TPP course, our tertiary preparation pathway course. For example, you can do the Diploma of Business Innovation, where you will complete 2 units from the TPP pathway program, which are fee-free, as well as 6 units from the Business Innovation Diploma, get recognized within 12 months of studying that course at a full-time study capacity, as well as knocking off 1 year to the Bachelor of Business. It's a really great way to gain early accreditation so you can start working in the industry, but also a great way to level up, get the skills you need as well in a very supportive environment, especially because it's supported and ran by our college. So that's enough from me, guys. I'm going to jump over to Alyssa Candy. We're very lucky enough to have the Equip coordinator who's going to talk about some other fee-free programs we have to get you started on your pathway into studying at University of Sunshine Coast. Over to you, Alyssa.
Thanks, Cody. As mentioned, my name's Alyssa, and I have the best job in the world, I reckon. I'm one of those weird people that if I won Lotto tomorrow, I'd still turn up to work the next day. And the reason why is because of the program that I currently run, which is called UniSC Equip. And this is a free government-funded program for adults who are considering studying either at uni or TAFE, and any uni. It doesn't have to be with us. And it's a program to help them gain the skills, the knowledge, and the confidence to start and succeed with their studies. And the way that we do that is through a variety of free workshops that we run, and we run those workshops across all of our regions, all the way from Fraser Coast in the north down to Moreton Bay in the south. And we run them at all of our campuses, and we also run them online as well. So hopefully there is some workshop dates on our website, which is just on that slide there, or you can scan the QR code, and hopefully you'll be able to find a workshop that is, timely for you. We cover a range of different topics, all the way from, addressing the barriers that you might be experiencing to moving on to study. We also have a career-focused website to help you explore career options. And our third workshop is all about upskilling for study. So learning all about academic skills and the things that you might need to be successful with your studies. And if you're not able to attend a workshop, you're also able to get in touch with us via our phone consultations as well. So on our webpage there's actually a link to be able to book an over-the-phone consultation with one of our staff. And we can actually discuss with you your individual circumstances in that conversation. And we can, I guess, help you plan how you're going to move forward with your studies in future. So as I said, Equip's something that I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping that you might be able to join us for one of our upcoming workshops in May. And just moving to the next slide. So I guess once you've, started to think about that journey towards study, there's a bit of a process involved, and this is what we suggest is, do your research. My favorite saying is information is power. So the more information you have about your future studies, the more power you have over your decision making. So go and find all the information. And one of the best ways to do that is to jump onto our website and to search for the degree or the study area that you're interested in. And there's a whole wealth of information about those degrees on our website, including, say, for example, you're interested in a Bachelor of Business. If you click on the page, which is the Bachelor of Business, you just search that in the search bar. And then there's a tab on that page which says, what will I study? And that will actually list all of the different subjects or courses that are involved, including things like elective subjects, so subjects that you can, choose between. So it will help you, I guess, decide which degree is going to be best for you, and making sure that the content that it covers is best fit for your future goals. Once you've had a bit of a look at the different degrees on offer, you also want to have a look at the entry requirements. So they're things that you have to meet to gain entry into a particular degree or program. And they usually involve things like, English language requirements. Also, as Cody mentioned before, having a rank, which is basically a score up until 99.95 that you can get from a variety of ways, which Cody can talk more about. And that's basically a score, an entry number that you get to gain entry into that degree to make sure that you meet that requirements. And also things like prerequisites study. The good news is that at UniSC, not a lot of our degrees actually have prerequisites, and prerequisites are basically things you need to have studied to gain entry into a degree. So as I said, the good news is not a lot of degrees at UniSC do have prerequisites, but for the ones that do, you probably want to check and make sure that you're going to meet it. Otherwise, there are definitely lots of pathway options to help you get there, such as TPP. And once you've checked the entry requirements for the degree that you're looking at, or the degrees that you're looking at, because you might be considering a few different ones, or you might have some backup options as well, you should apply through QTAC, which is the Queensland Tertiary Admission Centre, and they generally manage intake of students on behalf of most Queensland universities, and that's for all undergraduate degrees. If you're looking at postgraduate studies with UniSC, so it might be a master's degree, generally that's done through a direct application, and you can jump onto our website and there's plenty of information, including a link to the direct application process for those postgraduate degrees. So when do I need to apply? Well, the rule of thumb here is the sooner you apply, really, the better. The sooner you apply, the sooner you're going to get an offer. And also too, the sooner you apply, the sooner any kind of issues can be worked through. So if there's any issues with your application, then obviously either QTAC or the university can get in touch with you to discuss those. So two kind of key dates really is that 11th of July is the final date to apply via QTAC, and that's for starting semester 2 this year. So in starting your studies in July this year. And the 19th of July is when the final offer round from QTAC will be made. So you want to jump in as early as possible. Also, jumping in early is really good because once you get your offer, you can start to work through the process of things like enrolling in your subjects and choosing your timetable and things like that. And the more time you have to do that, the better off you'll be. And just, I guess, to talk through, so when you do jump through to your application through the Queensland Tertiary Admission Centre, you'll notice that you actually have 6 preferences or 6 spaces to put down the different degrees or the programs that you're interested in. And it's really interesting because the feedback we receive from QTAC is that there's quite a big proportion of non-school leaver students that don't put a second, third, or fourth preference. They only put one preference down. And then if they don't quite meet the requirements to get into that degree, then they may miss out on getting an offer. And so hence why putting, a second, third, fourth, or even fifth preference can really help, I guess, cement the opportunity for you to study. So we really suggest the first 2 preferences in your QTAC application should be your dream degrees. They should be the things that you really, really want to study, because QTAC will start from the top and then work their way down in terms of your preferences. So they'll see if you meet the requirements for entry for your first preference, and then they'll move down if you don't. And then preference 3 and 4 are kind of like your backup option. So there might be stepping stone degrees, things that can help you get into the dream degree that you want to. So for example, if you wanted to, study midwifery as one of your, first preference programs, you might look at, putting a Bachelor of Nursing, for example, as a third or fourth option. And then your 5th or 6th preferences are, also your pathway program. So it might be things like your tertiary preparation pathway program, or TPP, which again is that kind of last backup option, which will help you get into your dream degree. So I'm going to hand back over to Cody now, and he's going to facilitate a bit of a Q&A with our lovely student ambassador, Asha.
Alyssa, I'll keep you online as well. because I'm sure you have a wealth of knowledge to pass on. We are getting a lot of questions coming through around selection ranks, pathways, chosen specific courses. So just quickly, just before we jump in to learn a bit more about Asha, if you do have any more questions that you would like to ask us, take the time now to put some questions in the question box below, and we'll be able to answer those live for you and answer your unique circumstance. So Asha, thank you for joining us today. Asha is one of our students here at University of Sunshine Coast. If you could introduce yourself, tell us about a little bit about your background, what you're studying, what year you're up to, and how your university experience has been so far.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so I am currently in my final year of my Bachelor of Recreation and Outdoor Environmental Studies degree. Didn't start in just this program. I officially can call myself a seasoned student. I've changed my program at university, I'd say. So I came in an education degree originally. My background was in gymnastics, so that's how I ended up coming to university. I was a gymnastics coach for 12 years. I experienced severe burnout doing that job. It's quite demanding. And then I decided to make the really, really tough decision and scary decision to change my career. So I took the leap and decided to apply at university. And I chose this particular degree because it was a passion of mine and something I had a skill set existing in already, and thought I could just enhance that through this journey.
That's amazing. So your journey hasn't looked typically the what people would assume what a bachelor's degree would look like. You know, you sign up for a course, you study for 3 years, 4 years, and then you get the job. How has going through your start of your journey to where you've ended up, and what does that look like in terms of being on campus, balancing home life, uni life, socialness, as well as I guess where your career outcomes are going now?
Yeah, so like you said, my journey wasn't very linear, as no one's journey is. And I think once you accept that, everything becomes a little bit more easy to go along with. Yeah, so I never actually envisioned myself coming to university ever. When I was in year 10, my principal sat me down to discuss whether I would do the university track or non-university track. And he said, there's just no way you're smart enough to go to uni. Just don't even bother trying to do that. And I totally believed it. I fell for it because he was, someone who knew what he was talking about in a big chair in a big office. So I said, yeah, it's all right. I'll go get a job instead. Luckily I found something I wanted to do forever and ever in gymnastics coaching. But like I said, it didn't sustain me for much longer. So I didn't do any of the prerequisites that my degree required. I didn't pass maths or science in high school, and I needed both of those to get into my program. So I was very fortunate enough to go through the TPP program, and forever, every day after that, have been incredibly thankful for it. I still now, in my 4th year at university, am using things that I learned in TPP, and it's just, it was the kind of cementing thing for me to continue on and realize, actually, I can go to university. I can have confidence in myself that I know who to contact if I need help. I know how to do this, and I can learn. I can actually be an adult learner, and that was really important to me.
Yeah, there's actually TPP has a proven track record that if you're a student from a TPP background or you complete this course, you have a higher chance of succeeding and getting to the end of your degree than someone who hasn't. So that's a really cool result, and to hear someone like yourself, but also the students from all different backgrounds in these courses, from people who haven't studied in 20 years, picking up doing this pathway program and relearning the skills of how to study, how to find information, how to obviously complete assessments or referencing. These simple we look at these as like these core skills in university that, unless you have been around it, why would you know how to do it? It's not a part of your normal workload. Like, for example, if I worked in retail for so long, I never had to reference in retail. So you have to really fundamentally get those like key skills down packed, and it makes your rest of your university journey so much easier. And talking about experiences, for me, my work experience kind of made me fall fall into studying university to upskill. That was my background. I was working in retail management. I really enjoyed the business side of things. I really wanted to study a business degree so I can move up into a head office or something like that, and then found other passions and had new experiences along the way, which kind of fell me here working in university and in education. Asha, what about yourself? Have you had any work integrated learning experiences or mentorships or volunteering experiences that have kind of fostered the direction you want to go now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a lot of placement involved in my program initially. So I was in an education degree as well as the recreation degree. Very recently have just shifted to focus on one aspect of that. So I'm no longer doing the education, but I did go on my placements for that. So yeah, spent 5 weeks at a time teaching in a classroom and actually getting firsthand experience of what it's like being a teacher. With my outdoor rec, I'm just living the life that everyone wants. I get to go camping and kayaking and hiking, rock climbing, abseiling, all through my outdoor rec degree. And that fills my cup up. I'm someone who very much loves to be connected to nature, and that's amazing and mind-blowing sometimes. I have to pinch myself that I get to do this for uni. Like, this is university, this is study for me. So getting to have that firsthand world experience during my studies has just been an absolutely surreal experience. And I feel confident when I go out into the world and start using these qualifications that I've lived it, I've been through it, I know it. It's going to be familiar to me. So that's really important. And I like what you said before about in TPP, there's different people from different backgrounds and everything. And that's a really important thing to think about and remember with pathway programs like that, because that cemented my confidence in myself, because I think there's other people who are doing this too. And my story's a common one, there's a lot of other people who have been in my position. So it's great that you get to connect with people like that at the beginning of your university journey.
Yeah, I was honestly just talking to a student the other day, Sue, and she has been a PT and she has so much energy. She's been a gym owner. She has like such an active background, and she's 56 and she's decided, you know what, I want to go back to university and I want to study criminology and law. And now she's going on that journey, which is such a diverse background from being in the health and fitness industry and now wanting to go down the law field just out of pure passion. And she's had a whole life of experience. And some people do, and Alyssa can contest to this, because working in the Equip program and working on these workshops, you meet so many different people. What people assume is too late to go to university is such a myth bust. I've attended classes where I've met someone in their 60s and 70s who is literally studying something out of just pure passion and enjoyment because they want to learn and keep their mind busy. Where I've met other people as well who have had really successful careers and just really just decided they wanted to completely change. I've met some people who are very high up in business and had a true passion to move into education or move into health, especially in nursing is a very popular field that we see people change their careers in.
Definitely.
Talking about a myth bust, and we do have a lot of questions coming in, so we better start answering those as well. Alyssa, I would love you to answer some key myth busts, because you work with this audience, especially a mature audience, or you work, I'm sure, with some parents as well, with year 12 students. What are the key myth busts when you hear someone that is, my first one always comes to my head is, it's too late to go to university. I haven't studied in 20 years. Is there any other key myth busts that you would love to crack now, especially to this audience who probably come from such diverse backgrounds or work experiences themselves?
Absolutely. And, that's a big part of my job is busting the myths. I had a young mum who came to one of my workshops and she said to me, "Oh, Alyssa, I feel like I've missed the boat," because she'd been spending a long time looking after her children, and some of her peers had, done other things like, study or work. But now she was quite interested in going back and doing some study. And I said to her, "You haven't missed the boat. The boat's there. It's waiting for you. All you need to do is get on the boat." And so I guess that's the biggest piece of advice is, and the biggest myth I see is that internal feeling, or what we call in the academic world of self-efficacy. So your own belief in your abilities. And that generally is one of the biggest things that I see with people that are thinking about studies, that thought of, "Oh, I don't think I can do this." yes, you can do this. You know, I have people that are from all walks of life, including people who have been quite successfully, you know, in a professional sense, you know, quite fearful of going on to further study, but they don't need to be. The other myth is, you know, things like, you know, I'm going to be the only old person in the classroom. And again, that's a myth, because like Asha said, our classrooms are full of really diverse audiences, and that's what makes them great. I guess the other huge myth I see is that people believe that just because they didn't go straight from school to uni, that they're actually in, you know, a deficit. But the research actually shows that it's the reverse. So people who are coming to university, who, you know, may not have studied for a while, but have gone and done, you know, other things. They may have cared for a family. They may have had a work history. They're bringing all that wonderful knowledge and wealth to the table when they come as a university student, and that experience will actually make them way more successful. They're much more likely to, you know, seek help. They're much more likely to, you know, ask questions. They're better at managing their time. So again, you know, those are just some of the things that you know, I personally have seen in our workshops, and we see every day with, you know, the questions that we receive through our, you know, future students inquiries as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think another one is a big barrier to entry is I can't afford to go to university. You know, that's a big one. Alyssa, would you be able to bring up some of the ways that, you know, there are costs associated to university that maybe some of the audience might like to hear about, but also the ways that we can offset those costs?
Yeah, absolutely. And Asha might also like to talk a bit about this as well from her own experiences. But there's a whole range of ways that you can, you know, I guess, put in place things to help you along your study journey that's, you know, going to help with those financial costs. You mentioned earlier scholarships and bursaries. My favorite saying is scholarships are not just for scholars, they're not just for smart people, they're for everybody. And they're for a range of different reasons as well. So you might be somebody who lives in a particular area, or you might be studying a particular, you know, study area, and that might make you eligible for a scholarship or a bursary. So, you know, it's probably going to be the best 30 minutes of your life if you do put in a scholarship application. Other avenues I also recommend as well. There's a wonderful website called studyassist.gov.au, and that gives a whole range of financial advice and resource for students, including things like being able to see what Centrelink payments you might be eligible for as a student as well. And also, you know, information about, for example, the HEX Help Scheme, the loan scheme for Australian citizens to be able to defer their course fees to pay them when they start earning over a certain amount of money. So I'm going to throw it over to Asha because she might have something more to add on that.
Yeah, as a student, it can be very costly. You know, we can't always work insurmountable hours and fit in study at the same time. So it's really, really great when there are things like scholarships and bursaries to help offset those costs. So I've been very lucky enough to be successful in scholarships and bursaries, and often in the same semester. So I've received a scholarship and a bursary. So the difference between the scholarship is there being one amount paid over intervals, and a bursary being a one-off lump sum payment. So I've received the equity bursary a few times, the educational supplies scholarship a few times. So that's great when I'm, you know, my laptop's crashing and I need to go and buy a new laptop or study materials. I was actually really, really lucky enough last year to receive a placement bursary. So they offered, there was an offer of $2,000 for any education students doing their placement in a regional area. And I'm originally from Harvey Bay. So I said, yes, sign me up. I can go spend 5 weeks at home with my family, not have to pay for accommodation, but that money allowed me to still pay rent while I was away and not working at home for that period of time, and cover any other costs that I had. So it's so simple. It's that one form, as Alyssa said, it's 30 minutes of your time, and it's the easiest work you'll ever earn money for. And it's great because you fill out the form and it applies you to every scholarship and bursary that you meet the criteria for. So I do it every single semester, and I make sure I never miss it again.
That's awesome. What a great experience. And it is that one application. And there are scholarships that do go unused due to not having an application within that field. So it is something to consider that there is no such thing. There are ways that you can, do a really fantastic application. But if you're someone who just wants to get their foot in the door, just complete the form, give it a go, attach it, and just see what might be suitable for you. And while you're on your study journey, if you are studying with us, just like Asha mentioned, there are scholarships for current students as well. So there are ones you can apply while you're on your journey. And I know for me, although I didn't get the opportunity to get a scholarship myself on my study journey, I was already working in my career path whilst I was studying. And there might be some people here who are looking to level up their skills, where it may be a postgrad, or maybe they have a Cert 3 or Cert 4 qualification and they want to move up to that bachelor's level. I know it's really quite popular, especially in the nursing field, where they might be an AIN and they want to become a registered nurse. I know for me, who was someone who was already working in the industry, that my course actually had some subjects that were on campus and online. And the great thing about that was physically, I had less subjects on campus, so that gave me a lot more flexibility to work a bit more and catch up on the study on the weekends. So every course is going to be different. Every course has different contact hours, and this may be suitable for you depending on what you're trying to achieve. And if you are needing to earn a bit more money, especially if you have a family or extra commitments outside of obviously study commitments. So I think we'll throw it out to the audience now. I think a lot of questions have come through, and we've been on a bit of a journey. I'm going to throw this one straight out to, I think Alyssa will probably be able to answer this one best, but Megan has asked, my son is in grade 12. He is wanting to do a Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Science. He isn't currently doing a science subject. How disadvantaged would he not be doing a science subject? He's looking at doing the TPP program for 6 months fee-free in semester 1 next year, and then starting the degree in 2026.
Excellent. Well, it's great, Megan, that you're, you and your son are thinking this far ahead. The good news is for the Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Science, that actually doesn't have what we call prerequisites, so things you have to have studied to gain entry into it. But science is one of what we call the recommended subjects. So recommended means that you don't have to have done it, but it's really helpful if you have done those things. I guess, it really depends on, also whether your son is on a pathway for an ATAR, or whether he's also done any kind of vet qualification as well, because those things will help meet the rank requirements to get entry into that degree. TPP is a really great option if you are feeling a little bit nervous about a particular subject area before your studies, because it will really upskill you, and you will be streets ahead of a lot of other students for doing that work and doing those subjects before you start your degree, because you not only get the subject level knowledge, so through TPP you can study science specific subjects, but also you can study subjects like TPP 101, as Asha mentioned, that teaches you, how to uni, basically, how to function at a uni, how to write an assignment. And TPP is really great too, because it's free, and it's a really good way just to I guess see what university is like without having the fees attached to that experience. So hopefully I've answered your question. Obviously, your son will need to pop in a QTAC application. I imagine he's wanting to start his studies semester 1 next year. So applications for semester 1 next year won't open until early August this year. I also really recommend as well that your son speak to his school, because we do offer a free program called our early offer guarantee, where basically the school can sign off on a recommendation for your son for a particular degree, to make sure that if your son's meeting the entry requirements for that degree and performing well at school, his school principal can sign off on that and send it to us here at the university, and we can start making early offers before students even get their final year 12 results. So that's a really, really good option to talk to your school about, because it will set your son up for success as well, and he potentially will get an offer before he even gets his year 12 result. So that's early offer guarantee, if anyone wants to look for that on our website.
Thanks, Alyssa. We have a question from Narissa. How many years after completing a bachelor degree is the course still applicable for credit for future or graduate study? I think this could apply to anyone who's completed a course maybe at a TAFE or at a private college if they've done a Cert 4 or a diploma or advanced diploma as well. Alyssa, I'll pass it on to you, but I'm pretty sure as long as it's from an Australian RTO or a fellow university or even our own university, it is 10 years, isn't it?
Yes, it is 10 years in terms of to apply for credit from a particular degree. It's best to talk to the institution, obviously, you're applying to, so UniSC in this case, if you're not sure, and also if your qualifications are from an international body as well, it's really good to get in touch with UniSC and talk about that with them in terms of, what eligible credit you might be able to receive for those.
And in regards, obviously that's to prior study. What about prior work experience? For example, if I've worked 5 years or 10 years in business and I wanted to do a postgrad in business or even just a bachelor's level in business, is there ways for me to receive credit, or is there ways for me to receive direct entry due to my direct work experience or even alternative work experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as mentioned, there's a whole range of ways that you can get what we call a rank to get entry into your university study, and previous work experience is one of those. So, if you've been employed for at least 6 months full time, we can actually allocate you a rank based on how long you've been employed for, what role you've been employed in, and basically the requirements of that is having some kind of documentation from your employer to say that you've been employed. So if you haven't got any previous study experience, such as a certificate qualification, or you didn't get an ATAR or an OP at school, but you do have that employment experience, it may be a really good pathway option for you to get entry into your dream degree. Also, we do have qualifications where you may, depending on that employment experience, you may be able to get credit towards that degree. And also we have some postgraduate qualifications, like for example, our graduate certificate in business administration, where yes, it's what we call a postgraduate level qualification. So it's kind of a step above your bachelor's degrees or your first degree. But a lot of the entry requirements for for example, our grad cert in business admin, you can gain entry based on your work experience. So if you've been working in a business setting for a particular period of time, then they will consider that in terms of looking at you for entry into that particular postgraduate qualification. Again, if you're not sure about the entry requirements, and I meant to add this in my previous slide about preferences, if you're not sure about how to apply, or even how to list your preferences, anything like that, please talk to us at UniSC. We're here to help, and we want to help you, get you where you want to go the fastest way possible.
Yeah, and even if you're not ready to start on your journey in July this year, we do have open days coming up, as well as we've got a really strong lead time to semester 1 next year. So it's best to get in now, understand, I guess, what course you want to study, what's the pathway that's going to get you there, and what life's going to look like. Because typically most courses do go for a couple of years, and it takes a bit of organization in terms of how you're going to organize maybe yourself or your family, your work commitments, as well as your study journey, to ensure the success that you really want to have out of it. We have another question is, hi there, I didn't complete my year 12, but I am hoping to get into a Bachelor of Nursing. Will the STAT test be beneficial in getting a better rank? I also have work experience in the industry. Any advice?
That's a good question. So in terms of getting into a Bachelor of Nursing, you can use a STAT test in terms of gaining entry. You could also use any kind of previous qualifications, such as a certificate, anywhere from a Cert 3 higher, Cert 3, Cert 4, or diploma. We can give you a rank of that. Or if you do have that work experience history as well, we potentially could use that as a rank entry as well. It just means you'd have to have basically you would receive a rank for any one of those things, and we will take whatever's highest in terms of whatever that rank is. So if, you know, having a Cert 4 is the highest rank that you will have, then we will look at that. And, you know, as long as the rank that you get from those activities is high enough to meet the entry requirements to get into that degree, then yeah, definitely, as I said, there's lots of different options. So I really recommend for that particular person to, you know, drop us a line, get in touch with us at the uni. And I think Cody's just about to talk about as well some of our offering of one-on-one consultations here at UniSC as well. So you can talk through your own personal circumstances, and we can, you know, pinpoint exactly what that work experience looks like, or, you know, what other certificates you've done, and provide some more tailored advice about what the best circumstances are.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And although you may actually have let's just say you've done a Cert 3 or a Cert 4 or even a diploma, and it's been 5 or 10 years, and although you may meet the requirements to go straight into your degree, it doesn't hurt to actually apply and pick up some of those TPP subjects. Although the TPP program is 4 subjects in total to be able to be completed to move on to a bachelor's level and receive that ranking score, even if you receive direct entry, sometimes doesn't hurt to pick up the academic skills subject, do it for a semester, get your bearings and skills up to scratch, and then move on to your bachelor's level learning, knowing that you have the fundamental skills to really succeed if you're feeling lack of confidence in terms of that academia-based environment. I know for me, I was really great at working in terms of being very practical, but those theoretical writing skills was actually a really big weakness for me. English was not my favorite subject in school. And I really found that those certain subjects, especially those first year foundational units, which that's what the TPP program offers, is a really great fee-free opportunity to ramp up your skills, understand the systems and processes on how to complete university subjects, and then jump into your bachelor's and really thrive in that space. So Rebecca's asked us a question. Is there any disadvantage of starting a bachelor degree in semester 2? Oh, Asha or Alyssa, feel free to answer. Both of you guys are heavily involved in the university in this capacity.
I actually did start my degree in semester 2. So I did TPP the first 6 months of 2020, and then I started my degree in semester 2. So I have never felt it as a disadvantage. There are some things that are different to people who start in semester 1, just in terms of your structure of your program. But if your degree or desired program is offered in semester 2, that means there's obviously work being done to make sure it flows really well with that. So no, short answer, no, there's no disadvantage to starting in semester 2. I found for me personally, it actually worked really well because I got to do, you know, the next level courses prior to some of them. And whereas they weren't more difficult necessarily, it gave me a different approach to accumulating that knowledge. So I actually found it worked really, really well for me, but no disadvantage at all. And if they're offered in semester 2, as I said, there's a reason they're allowed to be offered in semester 2.
Yeah, of course. It should complete the same time as any other intake. It's a roll-on course. So therefore, if it takes 3 years from semester 1, it should take 3 years from semester 2. And that's exactly right. There are the opportunity with some of our courses where we do have an extra semester or a session available where you can pick up some extra units outside of the traditional curriculum standpoint. And therefore, you can make some of those semesters less intense by, instead of doing the traditional 4 subjects in a semester, you can drop down that study load and spread out the load if it's available to you. I know, especially when you got those courses such as, you know, nursing, midwifery, actually a lot of our health courses and education, where you have, I guess, internships or a lot of practical learning as well as the study as well. It can be pretty intense. We have TPP is a very popular conversation for tonight, but Megan's asked, with the TPP program, what is the acceptance based on? Is it hard to get accepted if a lot of people are attempting to enroll? Alyssa, I feel like you would have the best knowledge around this.
Yeah, I guess I just want to clarify in terms of whether, Megan, you meant acceptance into TPP program or into your degree after you finish your TPP studies. So entry into TPP is pretty easy in terms of there's no rank or prerequisites required to gain entry into TPP. Generally, there's only minimum age, so you have to be in 17 years or older and have exited school. So you can't be studying at school and do TPP at the same time. And there's also English language requirements, which generally are across most of our degrees anyway. So things like having, completed, a certain level of your secondary studies in English, in an English language country, or, equivalent of, for example, having a English language test. So entry into TPP is really accessible. There's not a lot of requirements to get in. In terms of how you might use TPP to get entry into your degree once you've finished, if you do 2 or more TPP subjects, UniSC will give you a rank based on how you perform in those TPP subjects. So, depending on whether you get, passes, credits, distinction, high distinction in those subjects, we can give you a rank based on those. The thing to note about TPP is that there is a maximum rank you can get from doing TPP, and that's around the 82 mark. So if you're wanting to get into a degree that has a higher entry requirement, so for example, our Bachelor of Midwifery, which has quite a high entry point, then you can't, generally you won't be able to do TPP and go straight into the Bachelor of Midwifery. You might have to, for example, do TPP, go and do a year of our Bachelor of Nursing to get your rank boosted up even more, and then you can apply for the Bachelor of Midwifery after that. So I hope that answers your question sufficiently.
Thanks, Alyssa. I'm going to throw out one more question to both Asha and Alyssa. We are starting to run out of time, and we would definitely want to pass you on the contact details. If there's any questions that were missed tonight, please feel free to connect with us. We are happy to talk to you guys one-on-one. We do have some international students here as well asking a range of different questions. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll connect you to our international team who will be able to handle your case one-on-one and really understand your unique circumstance and your best way forward to become a student at University of Sunshine Coast. So I think my very last question, and I think it's a really important one, a lot of people don't think about it at the point of time, but it's a really important one to me, where I relocated to a new city to study and didn't know many people, and I found it really hard to connect. If you're just starting at UniSC, what is the best way to connect with other students? And I think I'm going to start off with you, Asha, but I'd love to hear from you as well, Alyssa.
Yeah, this was something that I've found is my favorite thing about uni, is being able to connect with a range of different people. So I've been to every event that UniSC holds. There's that saying, you get out what you put in, and it really is true. So going to things like open days and orientation weeks, and going to even some of the workshops or the events that are held on campus, being able to connect. We have something at UniSC called Students as Partners, and it's a volunteer program. It's purely student-led, but you can be a volunteer, you could be a student leader, you could be a student representative, and that is something I've eventually worked my way up to. Along with Sue, who Cody was talking about earlier, we are the 2 co-chairs of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander student group on the Student Senate. So we actually get to be a voice for our cohort, which is an absolutely amazing opportunity. So we get to be part of a lot of different student events. We get to connect with students in a capacity where we get to hold and host events. But this is a really good way to, once you've found your feet at university, to start exploring different avenues. You get to connect with people who are like-minded within your degree and outside of your degree as well. And it just creates a bit more of a sense of community and belonging, which is what was very, very important to me. So that's one way to connect, is get involved in the student groups here. There is a student group for everything, sports, different societies and clubs. We have a Quidditch team. There's, if there's a particular thing that you want to start a club about, but doesn't exist already, you can just start a club. So lots of really great ways to ground yourself within the community and connect with people.
That's great. That's really, it sounds like you've had a really quite intuitive journey here at University of Sunshine Coast. We're connecting with so many different students. I had no idea that you and Sue knew each other so well and worked together. And if you are wanting to meet Sue, I'm a big fan of hers. I feel like she's been on such a unique journey herself. You'll be able to meet her on our next webinar that's coming up, which is Career Changer or Career Enhancer. That's going to be coming up at the end of this month. If you are someone who is on a career journey right now and you're looking at to completely change fields from maybe you were always in business and now you want to become a nurse or work in allied health, or maybe you're someone who was always in education and you want to flip 180 and move into business or move into accounting or something like that. Really quite diverse flips. You can meet Sue. We'll be talking about our ways of be able to change your career and all the skills that are needed, or as well as enhance your career. Talk about your post-grad options. Talk about the ways you can upskill to be more hireable and be more favorable to gain, I guess, higher income, but also higher job promotions and have more higher job satisfaction as well. So that's it for in terms of our Q&A availability. If you still have a couple more questions, feel free to chuck them into the Q&A. Seb, our future students team member, is trying his best to get back to all of you. And we're just going to finish off this presentation and let you get home to your families and enjoy the rest of your night. So why UniSC? We've talked about so many different options available to you, especially around our support services, our scholarships, as well as all the campuses we have available where you can study on campus or online. The biggest thing I think we're really proud of is it is a 5-star student experience. And to receive a 5-star student experience, we have to be able to have a modern teaching approach. We need to focus on our employability and making sure that our courses are really being updated and nurtured to our current environment to make sure that you are more employable and really support you on this journey, because the whole goal of any sort of degree and why you want to study is to be able to get to the finish line and have a really prosperous career ahead of you. We have a really high performance culture. If you are someone who is an athlete or comes from any unique background where you are very passionate and at a high level, feel free to always connect with us. We'll be able to point you in the right direction where we can support you on that journey, as well as being a student here at University of Sunshine Coast. But we're also a leader of sustainability. If you ever follow our marine science or environmental science courses and what they're achieving in the PhD and research space, it's something that I've been really quite proud of and something I've connected with over the years. And it's something that you might be, although not maybe a part of your background, but something you might be quite proud of as well, what we're doing here in Australia and the research that all the universities are doing here in Australia to try and achieve a more sustainable future. If you do have any more questions, especially a more unique one-on-one question, book a one-on-one with us, respond to our invitation at a time that suits you. We can discuss your unique circumstance and provide a pathway that will support your goals. We offer a range of campus tours. We have open day coming up, but if you just want to talk one-on-one, connect with myself or Alyssa through mature@usc.edu.au, and we'll be able to handle your unique circumstance. I'm more than happy to meet you on campus as well. If you have a more generalized question, especially around our courses, and you know exactly what you want to study, you just want to know how to get there, connect to our Student Central team. You can reach them on 075430 2890, and you can reach them at information@usc.edu.au. Or jump on our website. There's many ways to connect with us. We're more than happy to engage. See us on campus or online, or just email with the details below. Thank you for joining us and have a lovely evening. Thank you very much.